from the Joy News Center. This is News at 8.
Hello, good evening. It's a sad evening for us as we remember our comrade Komla Dumo. But it is the primetime news here on Joy News on Multi TV, and I am Gifty Ando Apia. This bulletin is also live on Allied Broadcast Network, that is ABN Sky Channel 290 in the United Kingdom. We'll bring you 60 minutes of local and international news, business and finance and sport. But first, a snapshot of the top stories. A remembrance service is underway at the forecourt of Joy FM for the Ghanaian broadcaster Komla Dumo, who died in London. These are live visuals coming to you right from across the street from where we're having this broadcast today. Statistical Service to conduct agricultural census in 2015. And about 60% of Kayaye in the country who subscribe to the National Health Insurance Scheme failed to renew their cards in 2013. The new Patriotic Party says all is set for its regional elections tomorrow. Coming up in business, ECG confirms managing electricity supply due to shortage in generating levels. On the international front, 6 killed and 100 others wounded in series of explosions in the Egyptian capital, Cairo. We have all these coming up if you stay with us. To begin with, the Anakra Financial Court has granted bail to the former national coordinator of the Ghana Youth Employment and Entrepreneurial Development Agency, Abuga Pele. Abuga Pele appeared before the court chaired by Justice Efiasewa Sariboche on charges of causing financial loss to the state, misapplication of public funds, and aiding and abetting crime.
The former national coordinator of the erstwhile National Youth Employment Program, now the Ghana Youth Employment and Entrepreneurial Agency, Abuga Pele, together with the chief executive of Goodwill International Group, Philip Asibit, on Friday appeared before an Accra Financial Court to answer a total of 19 charges for their role in the JIDA scandal. Principal State Attorney Evelyn Kilson, in a submission to the court, said Abuga Pele signed a memorandum of understanding with Goodwill International Group without authorization from the JIDA board. She further told the court, though claims by Goodwill International were false, they were justified by Abuga Pele. This, she said, caused the state to lose an amount of 3.3 million Ghana cedis. Based on this, the state attorney prayed the court that the two persons had conspired to defraud the state of several millions of Ghana cedis and must be punished. Counsel for Abuga Pele, however, said the charges preferred against his clients did not reflect the true facts of the matter, insisting his clients will be vindicated when the case is finally over. Counsel for Philip Asibit, Raymond Bagnabu, also said the charges were without basis. Both men denied the charges and were granted bail under separate conditions. Abuga Pele was granted a self-recognized bail, whilst Philip Asibit was granted a bail of 2 million Ghana cedis with 4 sureties, 2 to be justified. Hearing continues on February 11.
While a live remembrance service is currently underway at the forecourt of Joy FM in memory of Komla Dumo, let's cross over right across the street from our studios here at Kokomlimle, and that's live pictures just from our backyard here. Hundreds and hundreds of people pouring in to remember Komla Dumo there. And so those are excerpts from the remembrance service held in memory of Komla Dumo. Our own Komla Dumo also faced a focus on Africa. We'll cross over again to see what's happening there right here at Multimedia Group Limited. Now, over 50 stores and makeshift wooden structures have been destroyed by fire at Agboglushi in Accra. The fire is said to have occurred Thursday night when a resident of the community failed to put out fire from a coal pot that she was cooking from.
According to eyewitnesses, the fire occurred when a resident of the community, in a desperate bid to attend a party being held by a neighbor, failed to put out the fire when it was boiling water on. Persons affected by the fire were mostly head porters and laborers.
Ebe gu ho no egu warehouse no eni anwa ni tin tomatoes ni niama nyina isi bebi an amafo be dakra ni nyina si ha no si enti na esra ban se ombomodian boom ni manta wom adwadefo wom omunuama nyina ha market residence mi so mi niama si ye
mi fia be se 4:45 mi do fia ancha ne ringim se je de wa na ha nyina ahye enti ya no pe ne ba se ye ba be hwa pa ye no ma nyina ahye hwi ni ho.
Access to the community by firefighters was a great difficulty, forcing residents to put out the fire themselves. The devastating fire did not stop residents from salvaging what was left of their belongings. And for many, life must go on, and they already moved in to procure items needed to rebuild their stores and homes. And not even attempts by the opinion leaders to stop them from doing so proved successful.
Still some more fire stories. Now, fire has destroyed a boys' dormitory of the Ghana National Academy, a private second cycle institution at Aja in Kumasi. 50 students have been displaced after the blaze swept through 4 rooms. While students who jumped from the top floor of the one-story building suffered minor injuries. The fire started at about 9 this morning, but the cause is not immediately known. Fire service personnel have since brought the fire under control. And on health tonight, the call to donate blood to the National Blood Transfusion Center perhaps has been one call that has dominated the media airwaves for some time now. But the real question is, are we donating enough blood to save our lives, to save our own lives? Yafosua Jenfi tells us the situation at the blood center and how she spoke about the situation at the blood center and how she donated her own blood to keep the place running.
Whenever reports circulate in the media that the National Blood Transfusion Center is in dire need of blood, I always know the best way out is for well-meaning Ghanaians to donate blood. So when I walked to the National Blood Center on Friday morning, I went with one aim to donate blood to save a life. My crew members and I were subjected to various tests to determine our eligibility to donate. After the initial test, I was the only one among my team qualified to go ahead with a donation.
15.3 Papa.
So I'm here at the Blood Transfusion Center where I've gone through the process and met the requirements for donating. Officials say it will take me between 15 to 20 minutes to donate blood to save a life.
Ouch.
Over the next 15 minutes, as I lay on the stretcher, watching my blood flow into the plastic bag, I realized it was not as scary as I had anticipated, and it was also not painful. So the 15 minutes is just over and I'm done donating blood. I would want to encourage you to also voluntarily donate to save a life. Officials at the blood center say they need between 150 and 200 units of blood daily for onward supply to the various hospitals. As of Thursday, January 23, the center had only 10 units of blood available to supply to patients across the various hospitals. Over the years, the primary source of blood for the blood bank has been the replacement from family members and voluntary donations from the public. But the voluntary blood donation has been dogged with serious challenges over the years as few persons report to the center to donate.
When a person needs blood, somebody has to give. We just have to come to terms with that. So there's no other way. Until we can all help to contribute to solve the problem, there is no other way as I see it. We cannot continue to rely on the system. We just have to gradually phase out family replacements. And how can we do that? By people endeavoring to become voluntary blood donors.
Head of the Accra Area Blood Bank of the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital, Dr. Paul Mensah, said it is important Ghanaians donate blood daily to help the center meet the demands of the various hospitals.
At the present time, we are having severe or acute blood shortages. We are not able to meet the demands from the hospital. When we made a call for people to come in, some have responded, but I think that the vast majority of people have not responded. We need a bigger response than this to help solve this problem.
Dr. Mensah thus urged Ghanaians to donate blood at least once a year and on their birthdays. For now, one can only hope his advice would be heeded too. Yafusua Jemfi, Joy News, Korle Bu.
And I'd like to say kudos to my colleague Yafusua Jemfi there for doing such an honorable thing. Now, the Director of Elections of the NPP, Martin A.J. Kosa, says despite challenges the party is going through, it will ensure a clean, credible election. He was speaking on PM Express and said all is set for the elections tomorrow.
Preparations are very far advanced. We are about 98% off. The remaining 2% are the ballots to be cast on Saturday, from printing of ballot papers to conveying logistics plus any other materials to be used to the regions. The Electoral Commission is going to man this process for us, and so they have begun the process of dispatching these materials to the regions. Voting will be done simultaneously across the 10 regions of this country at the regional capitals in 10 voting centers. We have issues of accreditation for media, security arrangements to ensure that there is proper security at all of these voting centers, accreditation for observers who would be coming from all walks of life, international community and home alike. We also have accreditation for the delegates who will be participating in this election. The mode of voting is just like the normal national elections that we know. There is an album for each constituency that we call the voters register, and these will be administered by checking out the persons who appear to vote. Once you satisfy the election officer that you are indeed a delegate, then you go through. There are various categories of voters who will be participating in Saturday's vote. The election starts at 9 a.m. and ends at 5 p.m. and the counting of votes will be done, winners will be declared, and then we'll move on from there.
Away from politics now, about 60% of female headquarters, also known as Kaya in the country, who subscribe to the National Health Insurance Scheme, failed to renew their cards in 2013. This, according to a research conducted by Abantu for Development, indicates some Kaya are of the belief that National Health Insurance Scheme cards from one region could not be renewed in another. The research also indicates only 20% of senior citizens fail to renew their NHIS cards. A report by Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin.
The research touched on the accessibility, affordability, and awareness of the National Health Insurance Scheme to the female headquarters, popularly known as Kayaye, and female senior citizens. For the awareness, 293 respondents, representing 96.7% of valid responses, indicated their awareness of the scheme. Only 3.3% of the respondents said they were unaware of the NHIS, and all were Kayaye. 56.5% and 92.9% of Kayaye and senior citizens knew where to register for the NHIS card if they needed one. Significantly, only 52.3% and 90.3% of Kayaye and senior citizens, respectively, were registered NHIS card holders. In total, only 52.3% out of enrolled members had valid cards. 24.1% had expired NHIS cards and 2% were unsure. According to the research, it is difficult reaching female head porters through other means of education, since majority of them lack formal education and may have difficulties understanding English and other predominant Southern Ghanaian language. The project manager of Abantu for Development, Efwa Ejapoma, believes the findings of the research will help address the concerns of the health of head porters. She adds there is no enough education on the NHIS. The acting regional manager of NHIS, Bawa Nuruddin, disagreed with some of the findings. Despite the generous benefit package of the NHIS, covering about 95% of the common illness in Ghana, insured people still incur out-of-pocket payments for their health care.
And before we take a quick break, let's go back to the forecourt of Joy FM to be a part of the remembrance service ongoing there for Komla Dumo.
Thank you very much. That's the cover choir. You may please take your seats. Thank you very much. We call up on stage Nana Asase. And I know Professor Tukweokan will be proud of you. Prof, thanks so much. Kweku Sechiado is also a great poet. Later on, I'll pull him up on stage to give us a recital. But ladies and gentlemen, with a round of applause, let's welcome Nana Asase. We take time off to acknowledge Chapter O for joining us. Kojo Enchi, the maestro, is also here with us. Later on, Amachi Dede will take the stage. It's a celebration of life. We also have Reggie Rockstone, the grandpapa of hip life. Ladies and gentlemen, Nana Asase. Ladies and gentlemen, please be informed that we're live on Adom FM, on Senior Africa, on Multi TV, Joy FM, My Joy Online, and CT FM. Thank you all.
Let's take a break now. You're welcome back. Many thanks for staying. Now, all wrongly placed billboards along roads and streets in the Accra metropolis are to be removed by June this year. President of the Advertisers Association of Ghana, Francis Dazi, however, believes disregarding the Ghana Standard Board specifications for outdoor signs is the cause of the mayhem. He was speaking to Matilda Nyakwa Dennis.
Wrongfully placed billboards continue to cause accidents by obstructing the view of drivers and distracting them rather than concentrating on the road ahead. Thus, the decision by stakeholders on outdoor advertising to remove all wrongfully placed billboards in the Accra metropolis by June this year. President of the Advertisers Association of Ghana, Francis Dazi, believes if this is to be a thing of the past, the Ghana Standard Board specification for outdoor signboards must be adhered to.
Anybody goes to the assembly and is giving a permit. Okay? So at the end of the day, when there's a problem, everybody comes to the association because this is the recognized professional association for advertisers. But we have a situation where people are hiding under the guise of freedom of association to do anything out there. Why don't you join an association of professionals so that you can be helped to do the right thing? But they want to cut corners, so they'll go to the assembly. Some of them have friends. The moment there's a change in the management of the assembly, friends, family, and relations, they all troop there for permits. If this document had been adhered to, we will not find ourselves in the situation.
This document is not being used.
It's not being used by the assemblies because some of them have not got the necessary knowledge to understand this document.
He adds officials who are supposed to protect Ghanaians have shirked their responsibility because of money.
The road was constructed for vehicles, pedestrians. Advertising is tagged. You understand? Yeah. So why is it that now become the other way around? So the sanctions are there, but they will not be implemented because they are interested in the revenue they are getting, not public safety. So now the National Road Safety, they now can use their sanctions by the law. You understand? To compel people to do the right thing. But let us also look at who gave them the permits. And also punish the official of the assembly who signed off that they can put this thing there. If he has not got a permit, that makes it easier.
Henceforth, advertising agencies are to seek the approval of metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies on the technical specifications regarding the design, installation and location of billboards before placing them along the roads.
Let's move out of the capital now. Ahead of the reopening of the Wale Senior High School in the northern region, over 2,000 students have been screened for readmission following rout in the school, which resulted in the headmaster's bungalow and other school properties being set ablaze. The headmaster of the school, Samson Jakba, spoke about arrangements for readmission for the students.
I was displaced, and so I moved to Tamale. I'm staying in Tamale until the situation is normalized. And as school is open, I'll go back there and ensure that things go on well. Yeah, today is 24th of January 2014. And I will ask to let them report today at 5 p.m. for a roll call. And as they report, they pay a damage of 221 Ghana cedis and sign a bond of good behavior. The amount is to cover the damage that is caused in the school. Well, initially there will be loss of trust and suspicion here and there. But as I said, the GES is putting things in place to make sure that the confidence that we have for each other in the school is restored for academic work to go on properly.
The Colleges of Education Teachers Association of Ghana, CETAG, on Monday, January 20, embarked on an industrial strike action against poor conditions of service. 4 days on and after several meetings among the stakeholders, the strike is still ongoing. Marian Toure has been following the story and has more.
The National Labour Commission, NLC, has described the strike by the Colleges of Education Teachers Association of Ghana, CETAG, as premature, procedurally wrong and illegal under the law. Directives were issued on January 22nd, mandating the teachers to go back to the lecture halls while their concerns are addressed, but this was flouted. Attempts to get some answers from the National Labour Commission proved futile. Meanwhile, the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission and the Colleges of Education Teachers Association of Ghana, CTAG, were meeting at the offices of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission Friday, January 24th, to deliberate on the way forward. At the time of filing this report, the meeting, which had ended, had not reached any consensus. A press release issued and signed by El Ankra, head of public affairs for the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, was hammering point 4 and 5 of the directive that, in accordance with the directive by the National Labour Commission (NLC) on Wednesday, 22nd January 2014, the strike action by CTAG should be called off. The PINCOF, in collaboration with the Institute of Education, University of Cape Coast, is to ensure that the end-of-semester examination schedules for Monday, 27 January 2014, take place as such. Marian Toure for Joy News.
Now, graduates who pursue agriculture courses will now be posted to various districts across the country to serve as agriculture extension agents during the national service period. Agricultural Minister Clement Kofi Humado says this is an intervention aimed at reducing unemployment amongst agric students.
Graduates from the various tertiary institutions are often posted to serve in areas which differ from the courses they pursued at school. In a bid to halt the dwindling workforce in the agric sector, such as agriculture extension officers, veterinary service officers and others, the Agric Minister Clement Kofi Humado has requested that agriculture graduates be actively engaged in the sector for their national service.
Though they have done the bulk of the assignments already, they were able to, the late assignments, they were able to push some to the districts. And they have promised us that from the next cycle, they will ensure that most of our agricultural graduates are assigned to the districts as extension officers.
Yeah. But after this, after the 9 months, do you think the ministry will be able to absorb these people? Because after 9 months and they are out there, what are they going to do?
Yeah, that's why we are trying to seek some negotiation with the Ministry of Finance and to make arguments why they have allowed Ministry of Education, Ministry of Health, and why they are putting an embargo on the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. We think it's unfair. It has created a series of problems linking to each other. And we think that we should be able to get some reprieve from the Ministry of Finance and Government. In fact, I'm also going to raise a cabinet memo on this matter.
Clement Humado also indicated globally the agriculture sector is losing to the service sector in terms of contribution to national GDP. According to him, as the agriculture value chain develops, the service sector grows along.
If you look at the examples of many countries that have gone through that transition, and India, for example, you will see that as agriculture productivity is feeding into agro-industry and to services that are linked to agriculture, the proportion of services increases and that of agriculture diminishes. It does not mean that total productivity is going down. We are still able to produce enough to feed the country. We are still able to produce enough to move into agro-industry and also for exports.
The sector recorded a marginal growth of 3.4% in 2013.
Some landowners who provided land for a resettlement project at Anyamfori in the central region are protesting alleged payment of compensation to the chief of the town. They allege management of a mining company has, in their own words, illegally paid 260,000 cedis to the chiefs at the expense of the landowners. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin visited the town and has filed this report.
This is the 216-acre land the over 40 families and 80 households claim ownership. Last year, Pesos Mining Company acquired land in the area to resettle some communities to be displaced by its activities. After paying compensation to farmers, the mining company allegedly negotiated with the chief for the land deprivation compensation. The agitator group contested payment of compensation to the chiefs. On December 27, 2013, the landowners wrote a reminder to the management of Pesos Mining, asking them to direct payment to the owners, but not any other person. The chiefs claim this was not done and compensation was paid to the chiefs. Asare Bediakon is the spokesperson of the group. The queen mother of the town, Efia Santua, is alleging misconduct on the part of the chief.
Wahino agisika tuama yeda mansefo na ne tua yeka eba first crop for ba mikro na mitwa ahumanu eba ma ye fu wonu ma ne tua ma ye oye bibia ma ye ye hunu ohini bia sabe nam ne bebu ya nsa na nete so ya anya sa ne ma panifo ne ye nwuyi ye nyina wo ho anso ya anya sa right si ne de ma ohini no wadi ma ye no ye kura ye tua mu half de ma me ye de to poles right post see it is clearly no any say royalties in your ma ohene no ohene ka se obi asase a ono odo so odidi so don na nanu agya to so don oni afesika ne ma no wontua ma nsase wura no eni wo sa.
The landowners are threatening the company would face resistance if their compensation is not paid directly to them. Meanwhile, the social development manager of the Pesos Mining Company, Florence Ansribio, told Joy News the company has followed due and legal processes.
And this is where I take another break. When we return, I have a surprise for you in business. So I get to be joined in the studio by Ni Akofi Smart Abbey, as many names as 4, with business tonight. So he's going to tell us what's happening in business tonight.
Well, you've been counting my name.
That's business,
That's
right?
what you've been doing. Oh, well, quite a number of things happening. You know, there's a power rationing exercise going on currently by the ECG. We've been speaking to them, and they have some explanation to do, and hopefully it won't affect business that much.
Super.
Thank you very much, Gifty. But straight up to our first story, the ECG says power supply shortfall from GridCo has prompted it to embark on an emergency power management exercise for the past 3 weeks. The public relations officer of the Electricity Company of Ghana, William Boateng, who spoke on News Desk, says the situation is likely to continue until GridCo supplies it with enough power.
According to William Boateng, the emergency load management had become necessary due to shortages in power supplies from the Bui generating plant, as well as the Tema and the Abuazid thermal plants.
We are not rationing power. I think that we are not. The graphic is just hinting our customers that for some time now they have been going off at the peak period without any notice or without any information. And that we are explaining, we did explain to them that it is not load shedding. We have to manage what we call the emergency load management. We have to manage the load during the peak because of one reason or the other, according to the directive from GridCo, our supplier. GridCo takes the power from different sources. You know, we have about 10 or so, whether it's coming from Bui or Akusumo or Pon or whatever. We have Abuazi, we have Tema, a lot. We have the independent power producers assistant, we have Azobli, we have Senate, and so on and so forth. So it just informs me that there's a challenge in the system.
He explained the situation will only last for a short while until GridCo supplies enough to distribute throughout the country.
And you know how machines are. These are not human beings. These human beings, we break down sometimes and have to go to hospital. And so if they call and tell us that there's a challenge in the system, and so we should go down by maybe 20 megawatts for maybe 2 hours or 3 hours, then we have to comply. So this is what has been happening. In fact, this week we have to shed about 3 times during this week. And so we're explaining to Graphica this is what is happening, and that's why our customers are complaining that they have been going off without any communication, and we try to explain to them that this is an emergency situation. And we are hoping, according to what GridCo told us, we are hoping that we'll be able to rectify the situation, and then everything will come back to normal.
With no hope of stabilization of supplies in sight, ECG is likely to embark on what it calls load management anytime GridCo prompts the ECG to cut down on power supply to some of its consumers. The exercise has so far led to the offloading of between 70 and 200 megawatts of power from the national grid to consumers between 6 p.m. and 10 p.m. on different occasions. On the other hand, GRIDCO says shortages in power supplies is due to failure of power generators to meet the rising demand. The Volta River Authority, however, said it has enough power supply, according to the head of Corporate Communications, Samuel Fletcher.
Now, away from power, the Ghana Statistical Service says it will conduct an agriculture census starting 2015. The four-phase project is expected to strengthen agriculture statistical system in the country. Government statistician Philomena Nyako made this known at a stakeholder forum to discuss improved ways of gathering useful data on agriculture.
Getting information on statistics on agriculture can prove challenging. Some reports have had to depend on figures put together long ago by international organizations. Working with data which do not reflect recent situation may not provide good background for policy formulation and future planning. Though the Statistical Service has data on agriculture, not all crops and livestock are captured in these data. Therefore, once a comprehensive data on agriculture is gathered, government and private institutions will be able to fall on them to make better plans.
We'll be doing a pilot study. The pilot study will be looking at whether the instruments that we have developed will elicit the information that we require, and whether the questions make sense, whether the flow is good, and whether there is consistency. And then the third phase will be the conduct of the agriculture census itself.
Usually because of funding, we make plans like these, and then the time comes, it passes by and we're unable to do it. So where are we getting the funding from? Is it solid? Are we going to have the census in 2015?
We are hoping. We have prepared a proposal and submitted to government. So we are expecting that government will give us part of the funds. And then we are also making approaches to our development partners.
The agricultural census has been timed to follow the population census, which is conducted every decade. According to the government statistician, agricultural data collected from population census is expected to support the agric census. The Agriculture Ministry, through its Statistics, Research and Information Directorate in the meantime, is strengthening its data gathering capacity to ensure the availability of accurate agriculture data. The Ghana Agriculture Production Survey, which was piloted in 2011 with 20 districts, is expected to increase its coverage to 216 districts by 2016-2017 cropping season at a cost of 12 million Ghana cedis.
We use scientifically approved methodologies, yes, and it's been tested to be found to be very accurate, except that normally, in terms of data collection, the sample size is also very important, and the methodology used is also equally important. The sample size may depend upon the population that you are dealing with. If the population is huge, you may need a certain level of sample size, and all these depend upon resources too. If you have good resources and to back your data collection, of course, you're going to be able to generate the type of quality you want.
The Statistical Division of the Agric Ministry launched its website on which various information and figures on agriculture production and related issues can be accessed.
And on that promising note for the agric sector, we end business. My name is Nia Krofi Smartabe. George Adu Jr. comes up shortly with sports.
In the world of sports, there you have it. And the national Under-20 female soccer team will play Equatorial Guinea this weekend in the African qualifier for the FIFA Under-20 World Cup in Canada. The Black Princesses need to overturn a 1-0 deficit to make a third straight appearance at the World Cup. The Ghana Football Association has opened free gates for the game at the Cross Sports Stadium tomorrow, and management member of the Black Princesses, Roselyne Amo, is confident of the team's success.
Within the last 4 days, they've been training, and I've seen him made some few changes to his starting lineup, and I'm sure that would yield results because already they've scored 2 goals, which is rare they play all the beautiful game, but they are unable to score. So let's see what comes out of it next week. This has rather been a more consistent team because it's made up of the players that went to Japan who still qualified to play for the under-20, as well as the under-17 girls who can no longer make the under-17 mark and therefore have been promoted. So, and most of them are teammates at the club level. So that understanding and cohesion is there. The problem is that I think that as a national team, they haven't gelled psychologically, they haven't gelled yet, and there's still a loophole in the midfield that has been the bane.
Still with women football, the Black Queens have intensified training ahead of the African Women Championship qualifiers against Burkina Faso next month. The Queens are in search of a ticket to the competition in Namibia, which will serve as a qualifier for the 2015 FIFA Women's World Cup in Canada. Head coach of the Queens, Yusuf Basigi, has been speaking to Joy Sports.
Satisfied with our preparation so far. We won 2-0, and the maidens, they gave us a very good match, and I'm very happy. It's a very nice preparatory match for both Black Queens and the Black Maidens. We were supposed to play Ethiopia today, but the match has been rescheduled for first. The FA has written to them that we would like to play on the first because they were proposing 24th, which will not be ideal because the princesses will also be playing. So we need to go and support our daughters. So the FA has written to them for another rescheduling to 1st February. So if all things being equal, it may come on the 1st. Yeah, we have African Women's Championship, which will be playing next month against Burkina Faso on the 14th, 15th, 16th, one of the dates. They've given us a provincial date, so one of the days we'll be playing against them. So we need to prepare very well for them.
Let's do some tennis now. And Rafael Nadal powered past Roger Federer to reach the Australian Open final and maintain his dominance over the 17-time Grand Slam champion. The world number one came through 7-6, 6-3, 6-3 and goes on to face Federer's compatriot Stanislas Wawrinka for the title on Sunday. Members of the sporting fraternity would definitely miss Komla Dumont. I put this together for those of you still doubting he really loved sports.
I do work for the BBC, but it's time for me to show my true colors. If I can hand this over.
Folks, that is all from the program.
A big
May he so rest in perfect peace. That'll be all for sports tonight. My name is George Ade Jr. Gifty joins us with some more.
Sports was brought to you in association.
It is the lightest part of the news, a bit heavy now though, because people from all over continue to pay tribute to the late broadcast journalist Komla Dumont, who passed on to eternal glory January 18, 2014.
Working with one of the biggest names in the world, Akon, on the Convict label. What kind of person is he to work with?
Well, Akon is a great person. You know, like from the first time we met, he was really...
As Africans mourn and remember the late Komla Dumont, more Ghanaian celebrities who were one way or the other touched by Komla's works are still trooping into the Joy FM building to express their condolence. Amongst them is Gus Miller, a hip life artist. He tells Joy News what he remembers of the late Komla.
The first time I heard him on radio, and I felt this man could speak well. I mean, I loved everything he said on radio. He knows what to say and what time to say it. So, I mean, that's the first time I heard him. What made me love him was the fact that he's a Ghanaian and is doing it big. It gave me like the desire and insight that I could do it. I mean, being a Ghanaian, I could still reach greater heights like the way he was doing. The third was when my Azunto documentary came out with BBC, and I saw him speak about it and all that, and, you know, it made me love him the more. So hearing about his death just broke my heart because I felt we've lost one of the biggest sons we have who's doing it big when it comes to international news and broadcasting.
Gasmila seized the moment to comment on who originated the Azonto dance, stating that he has no issues with Sarkodie on the claims of he being the originator. He says Ghanaians should help put Azonto on the map as Ghanaian-owned dance.
Now, Jamaica is less than 4 million, and they've managed to put two genres in the world, that is dancehall and reggae. Ghana is over 25 million. Why can't we put Azonto on the map? Why can't we accept Azonto, make it our own, place it on the map to the extent that everybody all over the world, from Jamaica to America to the UK to Europe, will do Azonto, and they will do Azonto as a genre, and then we will get props for it. Because now people are doing dancehall in Ghana, and dancehall is not originally Ghanaian. It's Jamaican. Do you understand? So we should also accept Azonto and push it, take it to the level of the world.
Meanwhile, he said his fans and Ghanaians at large should watch out for his new addition to the...
Talk of legendary musicians, and Kojo is definitely one name that comes up. And so let's cross over to across the street from here, where he is staging a performance in honor of our late Komla Dumont.
Everybody. One more time. Say that.
Indeed, may his soul rest in peace. That's it for Showbiz. That's it for tonight. Before we go through a recap of our top stories, a remembrance service is underway at the forecourt of Joy FM in memory of BBC broadcaster Komla Dumont. The Ghana Statistical Service says it will conduct agriculture census in 2015 to improve collection of data on agriculture. Government statistician Dr. Philomena Nyako was speaking at a stakeholder forum in Accra. A survey conducted by Abantu for Development said about 60% of KIA in the country who subscribe to the National Health Insurance Scheme failed to renew their cards in 2013. The new Patriotic Party said all is set for its regional elections tomorrow. In business, the ECG has confirmed managing electricity supply due to shortage in generating levels from Gweko. And on the foreign front, 6 people have been killed and 100 others wounded in series of explosions in the Egyptian capital, Cairo. And as we continue to remember Komla Dumont, many thanks for your time. But you can catch the live show on the Cine Afrique on Multi TV. My name is Gifty, and to appear for more news, though, log on to myjoyonline.com. You can also follow us on our social media platform, that is Facebook and Twitter. Good evening.